Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto. Thank you for joining me today. Been a few days since my last update. Not a whole lot in the market has changed. We did have this nice little pop up here. Um, Almost got me thinking about taking a trade. Never quite got into it though. So cryptocurrencies still in this bear market, still chopping around, doing nothing, still just really going sideways. And these are the type of markets where you just really have to stay defensive, can't get too aggressive, and really just kind of have to, do your education, do your homework. Next week, I'm going to have a webinar. I'm going to have the sign up live on my website a little bit later this week, but next Thursday is the day that I'm aiming right now for this webinar in the evening. So keep an eye out for that. I will have a upcoming video regarding that webinar, and that webinar will be talking about market cycles. So kind of the overall arching theme of really all of cryptocurrency is the market cycle that we're in, and that's something that no one really talks about in cryptocurrencies, which is why I've chosen to make my first webinar on market cycles. So anyway, keep a lookout for that. But right now, Bitcoin's still living below trend lines, still making lower highs. We do have a bit of a higher low here at this particular point in time. However, the volume doesn't really substantiate this being a specific low, although the volume here isn't too bad. Oh, that's pretty cool. Robinhood to launch zero fee crypto trading in February. That's awesome. Although this volume here was a little promising to me, and I thought maybe this rally could turn into something and break this trend line. So far, that hasn't proven to be the case. We did rally a little bit, but the volume was pretty low actually on the rise here, and then we finally topped out and rolled over. So a little bit about 10,000, a little bit about Bitcoin 10,000, a big number that really hasn't been I won't say tested because it has been tested, but it hasn't been respected when you think about it. So we had 10,000 over here back before when we first hit it. We just really creeped up to 10,000, and I was actually watching this live. I don't know if I was streaming it live, but I was watching it live, and actually I think I was streaming it live, and we actually gapped up like 50 bucks. It didn't even hit $10,002. It just straight gapped up, and on really good volume here, this really good volume here after very low volume, and then we really chopped around it. But this 10,000 has not been respected. But towards the right side of this chart, we did see a very nice bounce off of 10,000 here. I'm sorry, not a very nice bounce, but a bounce off of 10,000 here, and it's kind of looking to me that 10,000 is going to be the line in the sand, which makes a lot of sense because it is a large psychological barrier. It is a number that people will get flustered over, and oh, it's under 10,000. That just rolls off the tongue quite easily, and that boils down to kind of some of the overall herd psychology in markets. But as we get down lower towards 10,000, this particular kind of intermediate, I mean, it's a pretty good trend line. I mean, it's got 3 points touching it, almost a fourth here. You did have to redraw it a little bit, but it's going to put some downward pressure on 10,000. And I will say this about numbers being hit. And this goes to the upside and to the downside. Whenever you have numbers continually being hit, those numbers get weaker. Okay, and we're seeing the weakness here in the lack of rise to the upside. So we had this was a pretty nice bounce here. You got 9,000. I mean, up to 13,000. That's like what, 40 something percent? Yeah, 43% upside bounce right there. That's a bounce. That's fantastic. And now we have this latest bounce off of 10,000, 14%. I mean, it's really hard to call that a bounce. So what would be bullish for Bitcoin in this case right here would be if we were to get down here, maybe a little bit lower, kind of towards this low here, right here, this kind of intermediate term low here, somewhere between this 10.6 level, yeah, probably this 10.6 level. If we were to get down to 10.6 and bounce up, that would be pretty bullish. So I think that's your bullish case in Bitcoin, and then maybe we can take out this trend line and then continue upward a little bit. Now, that's not going to kill the overall bear cycle in Bitcoin, or correction, whatever terminology you want to use. I I've had some people say it's not a bear market, it's a correction. Well, whatever you want to call it, we're going down. So if we do get a break upward of this trend line, we're still going to have to contend with this one and also this high. We still have yet to have a meaningful higher high in this market. This is a bit of a higher high from here, but overall the trend has basically been down. If we can't hold it down here and we do bounce around 10,000 again, I have a suspicion 10,000 is going to fail, and that's going to become the new ceiling. I have a feeling that's going to become the new ceiling, and then we're kind of in for the next segment of this bear cycle where it does become very bearish down from 10,000. But if we can get down here, maybe we double bottom off at 10,000, but wherever that low point is put in here, whether it be 10,600, 10,000, something like that, if we can get there and then bounce higher and break this trend line, that'll give you another very nice tradable rally, maybe up another 20% or so. So if you do want to put some stops in at 10,000 for a couple of trades, you know, maybe that's something you want to do, but give yourself tight stops. Make sure you have hard stops in place. I wouldn't want you to be taken out to the downside. But I mean, so far over the past couple of days, we've come down from this 13,000 level to 10,000, and then we've had kind of a mundane rally to the upside, with a little bit of a top here, kind of making this trend line much more viable and kind of heading lower. One more thing I do want to mention, though, it's not even regarding Bitcoin, actually. This is regarding some of the, kind of coming off of my best altcoins of 2018, 2019 video. I want to mention just the strength in XLM. We had ADA, we had XLM, and we had XRP kind of running in tandem together through this whole little upcycle here. And look where we are in XLM. We're pushing up towards all-time highs. I think XLM is going to be your blockchain for kind of this little upcoming generation. I keep seeing commercials from IBM regarding blockchain, and they're using the Lumen network. They're using XLM. So any company that's going to want to be kind of doing that, they're probably going to be using the XLM coin on their platform, doing whatever it is that they are going to do. So I think XLM showing just extraordinary strength in this market is it's just extraordinary. I think this is going to be your second tier blockchain coin next to Ethereum going forward. That being said, ADA as well showing very, very good strength. While we're not having the upside currently in ADA, we all know that ADA is really good technology, but they're not really viable to build apps on quite yet. They don't have their infrastructure built out. They're missing a lot of features on their blockchain, but ADA is showing very good strength, not breaking down from this prior base, actually holding very, very strong. Versus XRP, which, as we know, is a different beast, but still holding underneath its base level, still kind of making higher lows. Not doing too bad here, but as we know, XRP is not a blockchain. It is a transactional network. It's not necessarily a blockchain. They've got 6 nodes. It's really hard to expand those nodes. They're going to try to get to 12. I think this year that they're going to try to get to 12. But yeah, so that's really kind of it with XRP. And then we have Ethereum, the big granddaddy of all the networks, just kind of putting in another little symmetrical triangle here. Looks like it's trying to break out. Maybe not. Maybe it's these 2 points that need to be respected. But out of your big networks out there, you've got Ethereum still holding strong. Over 1,000 though. I think 1,000 is a key psychological indicator. I think if Bitcoin crosses 10,000, Ethereum's going to cross 1,000. It's just, I think that's just how it's going to go. Ethereum could go lower from here. So let's look at some other big blockchains out there. Let's look at NEM. So NEM not doing too bad, kind of rounding over. This isn't very healthy action. It's leading itself to the downside, which I'm not super happy about, and it's kind of expanding to the downside away from this trend line. So not overall health there, but really just XLM. How did I just forget this symbol? I just forgot the symbol. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe it is XLM. I just need to take favorites off. There we go. All right, I didn't forget the symbol. So I did just want to point out though, XLM showing extraordinary strength in this challenging market, and for something that is such a massive run. Let's take a look at the coin market cap. I haven't looked at it since it's had this last little pop. It was, I think, at 8 billion last time I was checking it out, and yeah, up to 10.6 billion right here. So Ethereum at 100 billion. We've got Cardano at 16 billion, Stellar at 10 billion. I think Stellar is really going to continue. Just you're seeing extreme strength in this chart, and there's no halfway about that. That's just extreme strength. I think Stellar should be a core part of your long-term portfolio. I think Stellar is going to be right up there with Ethereum. And then whenever Cardano's tech catches up to its hype, then I think Cardano will be right up there. And you're going to have, I think, these three blockchains. I think you're going to have Stellar, Cardano, and Ethereum, with kind of Neo and EOS nipping at the heels of those two. And then whenever IOTA can start making everything IoT, I think that'll do good too. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's kind of a little synopsis on the market. I think Bitcoin testing 10,000 is not good. Bitcoin testing 10,000 over and over again is going to be a problem, and then eventually Bitcoin is just going to go a little bit lower. If it can't hold that 10,000 level, it's just going to go lower. We've already seen a 50% decline in Bitcoin from 20,000 down to 10,000 here, and there's a distinct possibility we're going to see maybe even another 50% decline from 10,000 down to 5,000. So that is a possibility, but 10,000 right now is kind of your line in the sand from a technical perspective and a psychological perspective. And if we continue to see this bearish action of lower highs, then I think, yeah, I think the bear market continues. The bear market continues. If we can break above, I don't know why this does this. It does that all the time. If we can't break above this trend line, then we're gonna have a trend line here to contend with. And then if we can't break above this trend line, if we cannot break above this trend line, then we kind of have another ticking time bomb here about a month from now, late February, to hold 10,000. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Thank you very much for joining me today. Keep a lookout for that webinar coming up. It's really good stuff. I'm still putting it together. I'm adding a bunch more charts, and not even from cryptocurrencies, ladies and gentlemen. I want you guys to be educated on markets outside of cryptos, and I'm putting that in the presentation as well, that I think you guys are going to look at things and go, oh, wow, these markets aren't so different after all. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe if you like the content, and I will see you guys next time.